We're joined now by Daniel Rodriges, who is a student pilot with OSM Aviation. Thanks for joining us, Daniel.
Yeah, no problem.
First of all, just tell us a bit about OSM.
Yeah, sure. It's basically a flight school based in Sweden, Norway, and America, so a bit different to the other flight schools here. Pretty standard, I think, a medium-sized school as well. 2 intakes per year, around 20 students or so. And yeah, I'd say that's about it. Nothing special, just a flight school, but based in Europe rather than the UK.
Fab. So can you, I want to get a bit of a perspective from the student point of view. Just tell us, first of all, are you modular or integrated?
Yeah, I'm integrated and started in September 2020 last year. Yeah.
In terms of your decision making, what led you to choose OSM?
Yeah, sure. Well, funny enough, I was at Pilot Careers Live here past 2 years before COVID, and I discovered OSM. And one of the main selling points was that they were based away from the UK. So during university, I actually spent a year abroad, and I thought that was a lot of fun. And when I heard that OSM were based in Sweden, that was actually one of the selling points. It was one of the main attractions for me, because having the opportunity to study abroad and have everything set up, it was, a bit of a no-brainer really. And then when I came and spoke to the guys, they were friendly enough, so I'm hoping I'm portraying that as well, circle of life as well, when I spoke to them. Now I'm representing, but yeah, I think that was one of the main ones, like the medium-sized school, the people are nice, and spending it abroad in Sweden / Scandinavia, which is appealing as well.
Yeah, so what's life like out there, both from a kind of living point of view as a professional flying student and from operating aeroplanes?
Yeah, I mean, you think super cold weather, but it's actually been all right. I mean, obviously we were cancelled a few, when you get scheduled for a flight, you might need to cancel occasionally. So over Christmas, maybe December or January, maybe we got cancelled a few times, but other than that, it's not too bad. I mean, it's really hot in the summer and really cold in the winter, so as long as you bring a thick jacket, it's not too bad. And then general lifestyle, it's, you're either flying or your theory. I think with OSM we're a bit different, where you do the exams and theory at the same time. So I still have exams left, but I've still got less than half my hours remaining. So, you're either flying, revising, and then you always have like time during the weekend or during the evenings where you can spend time and do what you want, maybe go to the gym or partake in local activities like ice hockey and stuff like that as well. So I think it's a nice balanced lifestyle. Nothing too intense, I would say.
What particular challenges have you come across throughout the whole student process?
Yeah, I think one of the main challenges is, to begin with, you come here and you've got so much information that you want to try to take in, and you don't know where to begin. So I think the main one is picking the flight school. But then when I had made my decision on OSM, it was a lot easier. You have the aptitude days that you want to prepare for. You know what you need to do. And then going through that, obviously flying is a lot of fun. I think for me personally, I think it's when you get to the exams, like the ATPL exams, it's part of the life of becoming a pilot. But I think once you get on top of them, the exam period can be stressful. But I think as long as you manage yourself okay, I think that's probably one of the toughest. And then I think the next one's going to be the pre-match nerves before the final SEAL test, I guess, would be the main bit to worry. So all in all, I would say, because this is what you want to do, or for me at least, I know this is what I want to do, it hasn't been too bad. Or you get to a stressful day or a really bad day and you think, well, you step back and you think, well, this is what I want to do, so I'm calmer after that, so it's not too bad.
So looking forward, what are your next options? I know obviously you've still got a way to go with OSM, but what are your next options after that? Yeah,
sure. So I guess it does vary person to person. I mean, I personally want to fly commercially, so I think I'm going to finish maybe February or March time. And my plan is to send as many CVs out as I can and see what comes back. I mean, I know there are a couple airlines that are taking people, which is quite positive. And it's the whole general picture where it's obviously we've had the unfortunate COVID situation, but in the past few months it's even picking up, and I think it's just a matter of time. So when I finish, I'm just going to get on the applications, see what happens. But then you can still keep on top of it, fly leisurely, and just wait out to see what opportunities open for you as well.
And obviously you've said that you wanted to train outside of the UK.
Yes.
Are you considering working outside the UK as well?
Yeah, I think personally, again, it's like I kind of like going to other countries, I guess. So, the fact that I've gone to Sweden with OSM, it didn't really faze me. So I'm prepared now that when I finish, that with my license, I'm going to be looking across the whole of Europe, be open to to what's out there. I know, like, again, different airlines have multiple European bases. So again, that's one of the plus sides, I guess, where I can maybe have a look and see, I'm not strictly tied to the UK. I mean, obviously there will be opportunities here, but if you just look at the broader picture in Europe, I'm sure there's going to be loads of jobs, and I am hopeful, of what happens after.
Lots of people talk about training, professional flying training, as having peaks and troughs in terms of difficult days and good days. Can you just tell us, a couple of times when it's been really enjoyable, and what have those enjoyable times been?
Yeah, really enjoyable. You're in your routine, and it's maybe a Tuesday or Wednesday morning, and you're out flying, and you just see like the sun's rising, and you're just thinking, like, because I had a few years of work before I started, and I sort of just, you take a step back, you're thinking, okay, I'm flying by myself, got the sunrise there, and you just think back to like a couple of years ago, and I was in a situation where I wasn't the happiest. I was working a job which was all right, but I wasn't enjoying it, but that's probably like one of the best. And then you're coming back from like a cross-country flight, for example, and again, it's always with the sun, but the sun's rising, it's just such a beautiful scene, and you can't see that from your living room at like 6 o'clock on a Friday afternoon, but flying back from, say, southern Sweden, like Visby or Ronneby or Malmo, for example, you get that just glorious civil twilight sort of look. That's probably one of the nicest times, yeah.
Brilliant. What kind of advice would you have for people walking around the hall today who are at the stage of just gathering information and trying to pick a provider? What would you say to them?
Yeah. Yes. I mean, the fact that you lot are here it shows that you are interested. And with the flight schools, you have so many options. And I think it's like a normal job. You wouldn't really apply to work at a big company if you didn't like what they did. And I think it's the same with the flight school. Like you'll meet the people, you'll get a sort of vibe or general feel for how they are. And sometimes it will fit, and sometimes it won't. And if you really think that this flight school is nice and you've got a good vibe, then that's all you can go, because that's what it's going to be like. I think it's not always going to be like the biggest one is the best. Sometimes it's the smallest that might be more catered to you, because that's what you're used to. You're used to a smaller environment and everything like that. So maybe that's what I would say, if that's of some use to those that are here today.
Going back to the basics of OSM, what kind of aircraft are you flying?
Yeah, sure. We're flying Cessna 172s. We fly with G1000 as well, so glass cockpit, so only a few standbys. Diesel converted as well, so just have a throttle, so maybe a bit easier to fly as well. We have Diamond DA42, and we also use the Boeing 737 NG sim. So we use that intermittently in the training as well. So you have a sort of instrument training, and then you fly that in the Cessna. So yeah, for a wide variety. And then we also have a smaller Cessna simulator, unofficial at school as well. So you can practice on the off weeks and stuff like that. So yeah, it's a good variety, I would say.
Had you had experience of using glass cockpits before joining with OSM?
No, I think I flew a few hours, a tongue twister, flew a few hours in Red Hill, south of Croydon, near Surrey. And that was all standby instruments. So when I got to OSM and they had the G1000, I was thinking, well, this is this is pretty fun. Like, I started watching TV like just a big game, and I mean, it doesn't sound bad, but like that's how it feels. Like you're flying, and it's just like, yeah, that's quite enjoyable. So I'm not complaining. But even with the converted diesel, it's like so much easier with the throttle rather than mixture control. Obviously, it'll be nice to learn. Would have been nice to learn mixture, but with the throttle, it's enjoyable to fly as well, and all the small things that count, right?
Now, I know you're not an OSM employee, but why should a student choose OSM for their training?
Yeah, well, maybe I'll tell them. I mean, why I chose it was based in Sweden, so that was one of the selling points for me. Like, as I said, I liked going abroad and traveling, so being based in another country didn't really faze me. It was a medium-sized school as well, so you're not sort of lost as another statistic or another student in the bigger schools. I mean, don't get me wrong, they're big for a reason, they're established and everything, but the fact that OSM was a bit smaller, that, again, personally catered for me, and the people were quite nice as well. And I think the lifestyle as well, I think we have a different system where I think other flight schools do the ground theory 6 months all in one go, but for OSM, for example, we do it simultaneously, so I think it's like a proper integrated. So we have flying in theory, and you use each as a motivation. So say you're stuck one day behind the desk revising, you think, oh, tomorrow I've got a flight, so that's quite enjoyable. So that's why I chose it. So maybe those others thinking about OSM can maybe use that as their leverage, or maybe a reason for selecting OSM at least.
So you're basically getting a bit more variety in your training.
I would say so, yeah. And then it's even helped. Like maybe I'm sitting a couple of exams, and I think they ask about instrumentation. I was thinking, oh, I was flying it the other day, and this happened. So maybe that's the answer. So it's putting the theory into knowledge. Like I'm a bit of a maybe a theory enthusiast. So I'm enjoying the material, and it's nice to let it settle in. But I think sometimes when you're rushed, you don't really have a chance to let it absorb into your brain. But that's me personally, and maybe there are probably other people out there similar to me. But I think, with OSM, I think it's a nice balance where you can do both at the same time. So yeah, it worked out for me at least.
Fabulous. Well, Daniel, thank you very much for talking to us, and wish you all the best with your training.
Thanks very much. Yeah, have a good day.